The sights on it are just factory, which is pretty lame. The magazine release button here is a lot chunkier than on my last Glock, and I really like that.
The slide release is ambidextrous on both sides. The safety is ambidextrous on both sides.
The Nintendo Zapper Ruger LCP, my Wolverine LCP2.
This is a variant of the gun that John Wick used in John Wick 1. He used a P30L, so it's a little bit longer.
But you can see the 38 Special along the top, and it looks like it did almost as much damage as the 38 Special, even though the bullet's only about half the size.
Shoot her! Yes! For science.
Oh!
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Indiana Jones Guns. Last episode we covered the comparison between this Colt Official Police Special and the Smith & Wesson Model 10. Honestly, not sure which one is better right now, but in this episode we're going to make an attempt to restore this gun before we take it to the range next week. So, let's get started. Not sure this is going to show up on camera or not, but we've got some surface rust in here around the barrel. Lots of holster wear here towards the tip and underneath as well. And we got some more around the body. This whole gun is just, kind of in rough shape, but it's actually in pretty good condition. These grips look brand new. But it looks like it's a pretty good condition gun for 1947. So, what we're going to do first is we're going to wipe it down with alcohol and try and get some of the surface rust out. And then we are going to attempt to re-blue the gun using a cold bluing method that I used in a previous video on the Model 10. It worked fantastic on the Model 10. So, let's see if it works on this one. So, we're going to be using our 4-aught wire scrubby that we used in the last video. And we're going to start off by using some just standard rubbing alcohol. So we're going to do one side at a time. Let's get some alcohol in there. Start rubbing this bad boy down. Just got this gun today, and as I mentioned in a previous video, it was actually a fluke. I was bidding on this gun when I ordered the Model 10. I was able to just click a buy it now option for the Model 10. I didn't think there was a chance in hell that I was going to win the bid on this because I only bid the minimum amount. I think it was $300 on gunbroker.com. I thought for sure somebody was going to outbid me, but nobody did, and I was the only bidder. So I'm like, well, I got to keep my word. I did say that I would buy it if I won the auction, so I went ahead and paid for it and picked it up today, and was very surprised. I didn't think that I'd actually be keeping this gun. I was figuring I would just turn around and sell it, but I'm thinking that this gun may actually give the Model 10 a run for its money. But I'm not going to know for sure until I take it to the range next week. They both shoot 38 Special, so it should be very easy to get ammunition for it, which is why the Smith & Wesson Victory 38 lost out in one of my previous episodes. Some people might like antique guns, and I do too, but I plan on shooting every gun that I have in this house. I'm not just going to let one sit on a shelf somewhere and collect dust, because it's pretty to look at. This is an Indiana Jones gun. It's going to see some action, by golly. By hook or by crook. So, we got the alcohol in there. Just going to give it a quick rub down with our 4-aught scrubby here. And based on what's happening here, I'm guessing that somebody has already done this. We've still got the discolorations up here at the barrel, and nothing I have done so far has really changed the way this gun looks. So I'm thinking that somebody already gave this a good scrub to try and get it in the best condition they could get it before they sold it. But I'm just gonna give it a good once over anyway, just to make sure. I am hoping that all this will get covered up with my bluing job like it did in the Smith & Wesson Model 10. I can't believe how good that came out, which is why we're trying it again with this gun. Now this gun is not in the condition that the Model 10 was in. The Model 10 just had a few spots where the bluing was getting rubbed off. This one, I mean, the entire barrel has wear on it. So this is going to put that Van's Instant Bluing to the test for sure. But kind of interested to see what's going to happen here. Because this gun is showing its age. But, you know, I'd actually kind of prefer to have an antique gun. This gun will be a little bit more expensive to get into Indy condition than the Model 10, simply because I'm going to have to buy new grips, and installing the lanyard ring down here at the bottom is going to cost me $80, plus the $50 it cost me for the ring, which I thought was ridiculous. But, you know, they're antiques now, so I guess they're getting really hard to get there. To be fair, there was only one place I found that even had the ring for sale, so I guess I should consider myself lucky that I was even able to order one. But anyway, we got the gun all scrubbed down and everything now, so we're going to start the bluing process. Last video, to restore the Model 10, I had a heat gun. Wasn't able to find the heat gun this time because we just had a garage sale here and I think it's been misplaced. So I got my trusty hair blow dryer that I stole from the wife. This should work just as good. So, here we go. Hoping that on a high speed I can get this thing just as hot as I did with the heat gun in one of the previous episodes. So we shall see. That took a little bit longer than the heat gun, but the results are the same. It's about as hot as it was before in the previous episode. So, here we go with the bluing process. We're going to use the Van's Instant Bluing, like we did in the last episode, because we had a lot of great success with that. So, we're going to try again. I'm forgoing the toothbrush, because in the previous episode the toothbrush didn't quite work as well as I wanted it to. Here we go. Okay, well, we're definitely seeing a difference here. I think we're going to be going through a lot of these. Get this one saturated a little bit more. Really work that barrel good. That's where most of the issues are here. I think this one might need a few more rounds of this stuff than the Model 10 did, just because the finish isn't in the shape that the Model 10 was. Other than holster wear around the barrel, the Model 10 wasn't too bad. This one's pretty much got a faded finish all over it. As you can see, this side is already looking way better than this side. So we're already seeing a nice improvement there. I'm putting the lid back on the Vans every time just because I'm scared that I'm going to spill it. That stuff wasn't expensive. It was only about $12 for that bottle. However, if I spill it, I'm not going to be able to finish this project. And we don't want that. Okay, it's starting to look pretty nice now. Wow, you can actually see on the hammer or the cylinder where I stopped bluing it. Look at that. So it is working, but we'll see if we get the same results that we got on the Model 10. I am pretty happy with the direction this is going, though. But that last video ended up being over a half an hour long, which was a little ridiculous. Everyone, all the YouTube videos I saw were like, this thing works in 5 minutes. Well, that's not what I discovered. However, it does work. So if you're willing to put in some time, you can get the results that you want, I think, with this stuff. Trying to scrub thoroughly and evenly here. Just paying extra attention to the barrel because the barrel is in the worst shape. Another interesting thing, while I was doing research on this gun, I was notified that I won, and I was like, well, okay, let's take a little closer look and actually see what I purchased here. I could not find a single YouTube video on changing out the hammer spring or giving this thing a better trigger job or anything like that. The only thing I could find was how to disassemble the gun. And most of the people, based on what I saw on the internet, simply bend the hammer spring to change the tension. So I don't know if that's what's happened in this gun or not. I really have no intention of taking this gun apart other than to change out the grips because I want that logo right there for Indiana Jones purposes. but it looks like a trigger job has already been done to this gun, so I'm pretty happy about that, because I'm thinking that without that trigger job, I wouldn't even be thinking about keeping this gun. But that trigger pull, oh man. I haven't put the Jerry Mitchell-like trigger job in the Smith & Wesson Model 10 yet, and since I haven't, this is probably one of the nicest double action trigger pulls I've ever seen. And this is a 1947 gun, so that's saying something. Okay, well, we've just about got this side done for right now, I think. That one's still pretty clean, so we'll go ahead and use that again. And turn it over here, start the other side, whip out our hair blow dryer again and get it hot. Okay, that's pretty hot. So, here we go again. Trying to move as quickly as I can here before the gun cools down. Boy, the gun blowing job that this thing does is just amazing. With the Smith & Wesson, I wasn't really happy with the job until I added the gun oil at the very end. So we'll see what happens here. This side's already looking way better. Pull the cylinder out. Should we get a nice even coat all the way around the cylinder. Okay, that one's wasted. Grab another one. I'm gonna need to buy some more of these things by the time this project's over. But again, I was really only planning on doing this one time. But, you know, if I do sell this gun, I want it to be in very nice shape. So, certainly no harm in making it look better than it did when I got it. When I did the Smith & Wesson, I cleaned the gun first. Probably shouldn't have even bothered with that, because by the time I was done scrubbing it with this thing, I just had to turn around and clean it again. So I didn't bother cleaning this one first. Oh, this one, the barrel and the cylinder is not nearly as filthy as it was on the Model 10, so I'm guessing that whoever had this gun actually cared about it. Okay, that finish is looking pretty nice. Get a little bit more in this area here. And no, I'm not pointing the gun at myself, for those that want to complain. I really want to give this cylinder a good scrubbing to make sure I get all of it. Okie dokie. Well, that's looking decent. I'll go ahead and clean it up a little bit here. Get some gunk right there in the back of the hammer. See if we get that. Okay, so we got this side. We got this side. This side looks like I did quite a bit more work. And I did, because I did 2 coats. And this side I only did 1. So I'm going to do a little bit more on this side here. Go ahead and heat it up again. All right, here we go again. Ooh, the one time I forget to put the lid on it, it falls over. Go figure. All right. I really don't like the fact that you have to pull back on this lever to get the cylinder to release rather than pushing forward like on the Smith & Wesson. Don't think that's going to be a deal breaker though. I'm not really sure what would be a deal breaker at this point between these 2 guns. Both of them look really nice. Both of them, you know, only have one major indiscrepancy as far as screen accuracy goes. So it's like, which one do I pick? They both even fire the same round. But I see no reason at all to keep both of these. That just seems kind of silly. So, one of these is going to have to go. I just don't know which. I have to get that Jerry Mitchell-like trigger job put in the other one, because this one's already got a nice trigger job in it. Take into the range and we'll have a shootout. Hopefully there will be a clear winner, because if they both shoot well, and I'm able to shoot well with both of them, I really don't know what I'm going to do. The geek in me is just going to say keep both of them, but it's just not practical to do that. I don't like keeping guns in the house that aren't going to see some action on the range. Every gun that I don't take to the range, I have sold. So one of these is going to go. Just don't know which one. Okay. A bit more attention to the barrel here. like my barrels to look good. And this one really did not look good. But it looks way better now. So, let's go ahead and put some gun oil on there and see what happens. Hopefully we'll get the nice results that we got with the Smith & Wesson. This one needed a lot more bluing than the Smith & Wesson to make it look decent. So I am a little concerned, but we'll see. I mean, it already looks way better than it did. Oh yeah, that's shining up real good. Boy, this stuff looks good. This one's going to look like a brand new gun too. Looks like we're already 25 minutes into this video, so most people have probably already tuned out by now, but for those that are still with me, look at that barrel. That looks almost brand frickin' new. You get that gun oil on this thing, boy does that make a difference. Holy cow. Let's go ahead and pump the cylinder. We can get around it a little bit easier. Let's go ahead and do the whole cylinder right now. Here on the edges. Wow, look at that cylinder. Look at that. They should do this to cars. Of course, cars aren't made of metal anymore. Somebody should find a DeLorean and just blue it. Make it look all cool and shiny. Now, this thing ain't going to look brand new, but it's going to look like new. In there. A little bit more up there. Just unbelievable the difference this stuff is making. Van's gun bluing. So, there's the side that I've done. There's the side that I have not finished yet. There's a visible difference. Hopefully that shows up on camera. So, we're going to go ahead and do this side. oil on there. Nice and generous with that oil, especially around the barrel. A little bit more on the cylinder just in case here. And let's get scrubbing. It's a little bit difficult to get around this area here. So that area is probably going to have a line of haze around there, simply because that's kind of the way the button there gets you. Can't really get it quite as clean as I would like. Suppose I could get in there with a toothbrush maybe. Get that gun barrel looking nice and shiny. Alright, and out with the cylinder one more time. Gee, this stuff is just unbelievable. I don't know how well this is showing up on camera. It didn't show up on camera quite as well as I'd like when I blued the Smith & Wesson, but I can't stress enough the difference that this gun bluing makes. It's absolutely incredible. So we use a little bit of oil right there. Okay, well, it's not quite as shiny as the Smith & Wesson, but man, what a difference. There you have it, folks. Like I said, not quite as nice looking as the Smith & Wesson. Here's the Smith & Wesson just for comparison. You can see that the bluing job on this one is a little bit better as far as, you know, how nice it looks. But that being said, this gun is probably at least 30 years older than this gun is. So when you take that into consideration, this came out pretty nice. And, you know, I'm happy with it. For an Indiana Jones gun, it shouldn't look brand new, but it's got the shine like it had in Raiders. So that's good enough for me. Like I said, we'll be taking this one to the range and seeing which one shoots better. And if I decide that I want to keep the Colt, we're going to be adding the grips so that we've got the little logo here and the lanyard ring at the bottom. And then this thing will be 99% screen accurate, with the exception of this button right here. So anyway, this gun is looking pretty nice. I might add a little bit more to it, but I don't really see any reason to stretch out this video any more than I already have. So you guys get the idea. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.